Impact Talk for Impact fans, featured right here on the Impact Lounge. This is Trent, along with my co-host, J-Bone. J-Bone, say hello to the people.
What is happening? Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Whoa, 2020, J-Bone. It's a big year for us. Now, this is going to be a huge year. 2019 was nuts, but this is going to be a bigger year for us. Guys, not to shock you, because today is Wednesday. In my mind, it's Sunday, J-Bone. I told you a second ago, I've been off work for like 2 weeks. I thought it was Sunday. I see a comment here. You would display one of these comments here.
This is funny.
I swear to God, when I saw this, I thought today's Thursday. You and me both, pal. I don't know what day it is anymore. I got to go back to work tomorrow. J-Bone calls me up and says, we got to do a recap show. People want a recap show. BQ even messaged me this morning, J-Bone, and said, hey, you guys doing a recap show? I'm like, I don't know, BQ. I don't even know what goddamn day it is right now. And he's like, all right, no problem. But then Jay twisted my arm. Literally, my arm's in a lot of pain. He twisted my arm pretty bad to let me know we got to do a recap show. So here we are. Little 2019 highlight show. Everybody's been doing recaps. We're just going to do a little highlights, touch base with you guys about it all. Just talk a little bit, right, J-Mo? Nothing too crazy.
No, and you know what? Everyone's talking about their best of this, that, and the other thing, and no one's talking best of Impact. So you know what? They deserve it. They've had a hell of a year.
A great year.
Like an absolutely smash, if I could use something from my other podcast, an absolute smashing New Year.
Well, they've done a great job doing their votes. They've done their voting, their award year-end awards that they've put out, and fans have been voting and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun to see what people have voted, and the results coming in have been interesting. And remember, there's one more episode to come of the year-end awards this Saturday as well. Let's not forget that.
Right, it's a part 2 of their best of list, and I'm sure they'll have some matches in there too, as far as highlights and whatnot.
Yeah, so I didn't see the other one, J-Bo. I figured it was just an awards thing. With the holiday, it's been a little tied up. Maybe I'll try to find it. Did you get a chance to watch it at all?
Yeah, I watched it today. It was really good, and it was a nice little reminder of because, like I said, and I've said this a bunch of times, we're so minute to minute on like you're hyped for what's going on right now, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's out of your memory, and I don't remember what the hell happened 3 weeks ago. So this was a nice reminder on what feuds were out there. Some highlights from Bound for Glory, which we were both at. It was my first Impact event, which we're going to talk about more as we go on with this.
True.
So yeah, just it's just been a hell of a year. This brand has been, I'll say it again for the 1,000th time, has been the most consistent brand in the last 2+ years.
No doubt about it.
Wrestling, tag team, women's wrestling, you name it.
No doubt about it, J-Bone. I think and it's that setting the foundation. I remember hearing, whether you're a fan of Eric Bischoff or not, I remember hearing something he said, that the work you do now isn't reflective tomorrow. It's not going to reflect tomorrow. It's like the work you do today reflects 18 to 24 months in advance.
Yeah.
And down the line, 18 to 24 months. So like, they're laying. People are like, oh, they haven't done this yet. It's like, dude, look at the changes. Look from 2 years ago now, today. Think of New Year's Day 2018 and where they were then. So there's a lot of difference. There's a lot of a cool stuff that has happened since. So imagine where the next year is going to bring them. So how am I cosplaying as J-Bo? I don't even. Whoopsie in the comments saying I'm cosplaying as J-Bo. I do not have a bandana on. I'm rocking the sweet AAW hat is what I'm doing. But no, there's only one J-Bone. There's only one J-Bone. That's it. But guys, we're just going to be here. We're going to go down, just talk a little bit about our personal experiences with Impact Wrestling. They put out the year-end awards, Jay. I'm going to pull that up while at some point while you're talking. We'll go through their year-end awards and discuss the matches of the decade. And if you guys have anything you want to discuss, go ahead and leave it in the comments. We'll talk about it. We're not going to keep it too long. Won't be a long episode or anything. Like I said, Impact's been doing a really good job of highlighting the things the fans have voted on this year. So we're just going to kind of talk about it a little bit, but more so of a personal touch, J-Bone. I want to just talk about what we've
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I mean I became it's an even bigger fan of Impact Wrestling, being involved in this podcast. I mean just overall podcasting wise, period. This has been my most successful year ever as far as connecting with people, subs, joining this group, just everything under the sun. It's been an absolute crazy 2019 in the most positive of positives. So yeah, man.
I think it's been a great year for a lot of growth. You know, we've seen Kyle fade away to obscurity as the year went on. We don't know what happened to Kyle even today. You know, we threw off Kyle's whole schedule. We're like, hey, Kyle, we're gonna do a year. He's like, hey, God damn it, it's goddamn Wednesday, J-Bone. What am I supposed to do? I'm going to watch Star Wars. What the hell is this? We threw Kyle for a frenzy. He's out of his goddamn mind. But
he's off. You know where he is? Of all people, out of the three of us, I figured it'd be me doing this first.
Yep.
Not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm just saying out of all the people that like this movie, he's off watching Star Wars right now.
Kyle's watching Star Wars.
So you can go throw your own opinions that way for whatever. You're not going to hurt our feelings. You're certainly not going to hurt my feelings. I just think it's funny. All of a sudden he's like, hey, change of plans. I'm off to see Star Wars in 10 minutes. And I'm like,
okay.
All right. You and me, Trent.
It's just us, man. It's just us this year.
I twisted
my arm. I got to work tomorrow. This guy's twisting my arm to do a recap show. I'm like, Jay, what are we even going to talk about?
You're going to be typing with one freaking hand.
But so let's go through. Let's talk. I want to start off, Jay. I want to talk about, I kicked off 2019. I went to Homecoming in Nashville. First pay-per-view of 2019. I was there live, and I got to finally go to the legendary fairgrounds, the Nashville Fairgrounds, the Asylum.
I heard they shut that down now.
It shut. That was one of the last two events there, and that was it, man. And it was kind of a trip for me to go and see the place where now, as you guys know, as some of you might not know, on our other channel, the Total Nonstop Impact channel, if you search that on YouTube, you'll find that we're doing NWA TNA throwback shows. Jay and I are on episode. We're coming up on 5 now. And finally, and I watched them all when they aired, finally getting to go to the Asylum, which we're not at the Asylum yet. We're still at the fairgrounds, or we're still at the auditorium up to episode 4, Jay. But getting to finally go to the Asylum was awesome. And I think that was something that I was really, really excited about. And finally getting to go there and see what all those years of watching built up to. So that was really cool for me. That was a really cool event. And then I got to go to the subsequent tapings in Windsor after that. So I was really happy with January last year. And Jay, when did you start watching regularly? It wasn't around. We didn't all hook up until way later in the year.
Yeah, it was like late summer. Definitely the second half of this year, June, July. But I think we connected a couple times, like late spring-ish is when we started like chatting and like guesting, and then things became official like late summer. I'd have to go back and see exactly when it was.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna take a look at that. But man, what an exciting time January was. I gotta say, as Colby reminded me in the chat here, that that was a time that's when Pursuit got announced. That's when Twitch was announced. That was a huge thing for Impact to finally have a new home. We all had bigger hopes for Twitch. For Pursuit. Pursuit ended up not working out at all. I mean, it was a sad case with Pursuit. It was a parking spot at the time, but the Twitch thing was big.
Very brief, yes.
Yeah, the Twitch thing was big and continues to be because it makes it accessible everywhere. I have used Twitch a lot to watch Impact when I can get home and watch it live on Access. I can watch it on Twitch, and that's been the thing for me. So I love that they have the partnership with Twitch, all the specials that went on with Twitch, the strengthening of Impact Plus that launched this year, changing the GWN, having those specials. So those were big media outlets along with the different TV deals, Jay. We had South Africa come through. I can't remember the rest. I think there was one in Vietnam that came through. Colby could probably tell me who you know what other deals popped in this year. But man, from an accessibility point of view, Jay, along with the YouTube, for a guy like you who came in a little later, did you like knowing like, hey, you know, there's a lot of ways I can watch this product. I can see this in a lot of different spots, and that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I started watching on a regular basis, I think right around the time of, I want to say around the height of the Hardy Boys.
Okay.
Maybe a little after that.
You mean like during the delete and the decay?
Yeah, the deletion. I mean, that's when I really started paying attention again around that time. I actually started talking about it on my own podcast because I'll be honest. I was a Fairweather fan. I was really back and forth because so many years they were so inconsistent with their booking, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. I just wasn't digging it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, that was in a transitional time, right? And there was so much happening.
There was
so much happening. I want to address one thing really quick. Markubi, I hope I'm saying that right. Markubi in the chat is asking, where are we meeting before Hard to Kill? I will let you know as soon as I figure it out. I don't know yet. I just got done with all this holiday stuff. Let me see where I got the hotels, everything booked up. We'll let you know as soon as we figure it out. I'll let you know where we're at. We'll somewhere close to the venue. We'll keep it close to the venue. So we'll do that. But anyway, but yeah, Jay. So it was a busy time. You know, it was a real busy time to be a part of the company early this year when things all were changing over.
It was
and becoming this new thing. I mean, again, Pursuit was something we all went into with good intentions, and man, it did not pan out. But I gotta say, the thing about it, at least it gave us somewhere to say it's on TV, and at least the simulcast, which with Twitch was very, very key. I gotta say, it was very, very key.
Yeah, I think Pursuit put out one congratulatory tweet, and that was it. It was like, hey, all right, here we go. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people just jumped right in Twitch, and whoever did, and of course, the half-ass fans out there. Oh, I can't find it. Well, you know what? Just look for it.
I love Twitch. I love Impact on Twitch. To be honest, I'm not sure how some of the other guys here feel, but I love the chat in Twitch is great. People are really active in Twitch. Obviously, Twitch numbers have dropped because more people are watching on Access now. But I love the Twitch stuff, man. I'm so happy they kept the simulcast with Twitch. That made me really happy. But you didn't mute on that cough, Jay.
Sorry. I accidentally unplugged my stuff, and then I freaked. All right, sorry.
No worries. Colby also mentioned here the UK deal with 5-Star and the Philippines TV deal. That's the other 2 TV deals, and so that's about it. And I think I just heard there's Access in the UK that's launching.
Access TV UK, yeah.
So I don't know what that means for all their outlets in the UK. So who knows where Access in the UK is happening? But we'll see, man. I'm excited about that. They kept that kind of under wraps. My prediction is that there is going to be a UK tour following all this. Like, there's a lot of tease of the UK. I think there's going to be another UK tour that people have been begging for. It's about to happen. I'm calling it right now. Look for that to happen.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I looked at you look at old footage that pops up here and there on social media, and it shows old clips of some of the stuff that happened in UK. And man, the arenas were packed. I mean, I don't know what the count of the arenas were by any means, but man, they were packed and they were loud. They want that brand. And I'm sure there are still a fair amount of fans that want them back. So,
the fans are there. They still have a very strong following in the UK. I think it's just, let's not waste time. Let's get back there as soon as we can. I think it's time. I think people want it, man. So let's give them what they want out there.
They did some kind of house show thing over there. I want to say
MediaCon. Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
MediaCon,
It was, the headliner was Callahan versus Jimmy Havoc.
Jimmy Havoc
did it somewhere else too, a couple times. Probably MLW, a couple places, but yeah.
It was actually a really good show. I'm sorry the people in the chat can say MediaCon was a cool show, and I think
I loved it.
It just shows that there's awesome talent there that needs to get on, on some featured stuff that's not signed anywhere. So if we can get to the UK and cultivate some of that unsigned talent they have, I think it'd be really, really critical now before these guys start getting swept up by the AEWs, WWEs, and all these guys coming around. Let's get those guys. There's an untapped market out there in a lot of ways that we can definitely penetrate. No doubt.
Yeah, and they're good at building their own stars, and we've seen that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm really excited about what the UK possibilities are going to be. So, but yeah, man, it was a very busy year. So media wise, so then obviously, just to jump ahead, we ended up as we ended the year, we ended up on Access TV, which was one of the biggest things to happen to Impact, because now they're on a network owned by their parent company, Anthem Sports. So just to know where we started with Pursuit and Twitch, and now to end up with to Access TV and Twitch as a simulcast is huge. And when that news broke, I think that was a big deal, and I think that's we ended the year really nicely from a media perspective, along with Impact Plus taking the rebrand this year. I think that is from just a visibility perspective, we ended up in a really, really good way.
Yeah, and also very interesting that not to go off subject too much, but as far as Access TV goes, with the introduction of Impact Wrestling came the exit at the end of 2019 of New Japan. Very interesting.
I want to address that for a second. We talked about it real briefly, Jay, on our throwback show. People are like, "Oh, that seems like a wrong move." But I was thinking to myself, I was like, why have New Japan essentially compete with your own brand on your channel? Just use your outlet to strengthen your own brand. And I think on top of that, I just feel like New Japan, for some reason, won't let that grudge go from the Okada thing years ago.
Which is ridiculous.
It's odd to me. I don't get it.
It's
like, can we let it go already? I don't get
that was so 10 years plus ago or whatever it was.
It was last decade. So if we can get rid of that,
right?
They've brought it up several times how they just cannot let that go. So, hey, if you can't let it go, then maybe it's not good to work together. But
like that annoying ex-girlfriend that keeps calling.
Who's
my number, biatch?
Yeah, that sounds like you have experience with this, Jay.
They're still haunting me. No.
But, that said, I encourage everybody to throw your $8, get the Impact Plus. I think it's really cool, especially because Jay and I have been doing the NWA TNA stuff on the Total Nonstop Impact YouTube channel as well. We're doing throwback shows. It's worth it for the Twitch specials and the Impact Plus specials, and just the vault. Having that access to the vault is cool for $8. I think it's really worth it. They're constantly improving it. It needs some work. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it, Jay. Impact Plus definitely needs some work. The biggest thing to me, God damn it, if I can just put this publicly, Jay, is can we just get a continue watching section of the Impact Plus? Because like we were doing those throwback shows, and I got to go back and scroll back to the event each time and find it again.
Yeah. And log in 90% of the time too. It doesn't keep you logged in.
Mine keeps me logged in, but the continue watching is something I need big time.
Yeah.
So if we can get that, guys. But let's keep improving it for sure. I'd like to see it keep growing. But so that was a big one. So let's do this, Jay. I want to talk. Like I said, if you guys want for us to talk about, definitely throw the comments and we'll bring up some of your ideas while we're here.
I want to throw a comment in on this one. Is while wrestling's still going to be on Access, I don't know anything officially, but I have heard Scott D'Amore say publicly, either in an interview or somewhere, he said within the last few months, with the inception of them on Access TV, that he would like to work with the women of WOW. So who knows what 2020 will bring. They could help both. I mean, I would love, and I know I got season 2 to catch up on still on my own personal podcast. Don't get me started on that. I know I'm way behind. But I would love to see the women of WoW on Impact Wrestling. You know, so a couple of them, some of them, any of them. They're all great.
Some of them are, right? Some of them are over there. Like
Kiera Hogan is. Tessa was current. Well, last time I checked, I haven't watched any of the season yet, but it's all on my DVR. Tessa was their women's champ. And there was someone else. Alicia Edwards was on there too, but I can't remember what she was called. I'm really rusty on all the WoW stuff. So yeah, there's a few of them on there.
Okay. I want to address Miguel Contreras asking me if I'm going to go to the TNA One Night Only Show Mania weekend. Here's the funny thing, Miguel. I'm going to be in Orlando the week before all that for a bachelor party, unless I can make it back the second week in a row. I don't know if I'll be there, but I'll definitely be watching. I'd love to go. If the card is completely unmissable, I'll do what I can and use whatever vacation days I have to make it. So I'll let you guys know. Yeah. But we'll definitely be doing we'll definitely try to do a throwback show then, or we'll review that one or something. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
But so Jay, let's talk a little bit. I want to discuss the some of the awards that they put out already.
Yes.
And we'll kind of anchor off of that, and we'll talk a little bit after that with what people have in mind. So Knockout of the Year this year was voted as Taya Valkyrie. I don't think this was any surprise to anybody. She's the longest reigning Knockouts champion of all time. And shit, she had a hell of a year, man. Taya Valkyrie, what do you see happening at Hard to Kill? I mean, she's had this title for a long time.
Well, coming up on, as of the pay-per-view, it's going to be a calendar year, right?
It's a calendar because she won it at Homecoming last year. So she'll be, and when Homecoming, I think it was the 6th last year. So she'll be at a year.
She'll be plus. Just over.
Which is fantastic.
If she drops it, I'm fine with it. She has absolutely become one of the greatest knockouts. I mean, yeah, everyone's got their own opinions and whatever. But as far as knockouts in this company's history, she is absolutely has become one of the top. She has grown so much as a wrestler, as a person, as cutting a promo. I'm not going to say she cuts the best promos, but she does cut a decent promo.
Sure,
she works the whole. I'm the baddest bitch, and there's nothing you can do about it. She works it. She
character she works.
And I'm gonna throw a couple nods here to Lucha Underground, and I'm going to bring this up tomorrow night on my Best of Decade on my own channel. Cheap plug. Man, if it wasn't for places like Lucha Underground, we wouldn't have seen half the stars on this show that we had over the last year plus. Guys like Sami Callihan, guys like John, well, now he's gone, but John Morrison or Johnny Mundo, or Johnny Impact, whatever. Taya Valkyrie, the Lucha Brothers, Brian Cage, the list goes on and on.
Sure.
So many great moments, and Taya was one of those that came in and just took the company by storm, and then she went away for a little bit and came back even stronger.
Yeah, man, she has been and the evolution of the character. She went from the medieval thing to this Valley Girl thing, and this has been awesome. Face to heel, the turn by her and Johnny that happened in Vegas. I thought that was really awesome.
Yes.
I think she really, when she turned heel, it was exactly the thing that was missing the entire time. That was the missing element. And hey, she put over the podcast this summer.
Yeah.
And then her and Kyle got to have their face off. Shit. It was an epic year for us and Taya Valkyrie because she was voted scumbag of the week on the show by Kyle several times. And
several times.
And then when we booked her at AAW in July, and I said, hey, I'm Trent from Total Nonstop Impact. And she's like, you scumbag of the week? 3 times. And I'm like, hey, don't blame me. It was Kyle. And she went ahead and cut a promo on Kyle, which is on taping. Jay, for the intro of the iTunes version of this, I want you to throw that one on there for good old times. Throw that one on the beginning. But and then she really put us over. And then Kyle got to meet face to face in October, right? So November. So that was pretty awesome for our involvement with Ty Valkyrie, which is pretty cool. To just have her endorsement on the podcast was very nice. So very, very cool for her to be cool to us in what was one of probably her biggest year. And she's a great ambassador for the company, Jay. She's always putting over the company. She's always talking high of the company.
She is. She did media events for Impact too. Yeah.
She always speaks highly. She always does cool stuff. And
is this our scumbag that's in the chat?
Scumbag Skywalker, here it is. Well, I'm gonna guess it's him because he's at Star. I mean, is he doing this? Is he doing this from the theater? Are you that asshole on the phone in the theater, Kyle? That might be him.
That would be a scumbag thing to do, wouldn't it?
It would be. So it looks like it's him. But anyway, yeah, very cool. So Taya was the knockout of the year. Now we have this was interesting. The one to watch was voted Willie Mack this year. I didn't see that. I did not see him coming.
Another one coming over from the Lucha Underground clan. Yeah, man, Willie's so damn good. He's, in my opinion, probably one of the most underrated people on the roster. The guy's athleticism, his charisma is to boot. You could put him with anyone and he'll have a great match.
Yeah, no, dude, his matches are great. His charisma is the big appeal, right? The charisma is fantastic. He connects.
That stank eye.
Got a great stank eye. The thing that's been brewing with him and Rich Swann. I mean, Rich Swann has been, I think, the one of the star breakouts this year. But that story is brewing and brewing. I can see why he's the one to watch. No doubt about it. I think he's going to be the one to at least do something, either in the X division or whatever, or tag, whatever he decides to. I think he's gonna be a one to watch for sure. I didn't see it coming though. I didn't think we saw enough of Willie, but maybe that's the whole point, right, Jay? Like they wanted him to be the one to watch as far as what he's gonna do this year.
Yeah, and I think that's a good sign for those who are a fan of the Chocolate Thunder. It's like, hey, and there's gonna be some good things coming then.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's keep going on this list. X Division Star of the year. Was there ever any doubt it was going to be Rich Swann? Was there ever any doubt it was going to be Rich Swann, guys? I think he, not just the X Division. I think Rich Swann transcended divisions this year. He is at a home run in heavyweight with his feud with Sammy. The gauntlet, the gauntlet match, the X Division nearly broke the X Division record this year. And now going into tags. Nobody has had that exciting of a year across all platforms than Rich Swann, man. Incredible what he's done this year.
From a guy that went through some controversy within the last would be about a year and a half ago now.
Maybe a year and a half, 2 years almost. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was right before WrestleMania time 2 years ago now, I believe it was. And he was let go from, and I'm not gonna go over details. We've rehashed that a billion times.
Sure.
But let go from the WWE, quit wrestling, and then was brought into, I don't know how many events he did that weekend, but Impact Wrestling was one of them. They brought him in, and instantly the fans just latched onto him like, hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for not quitting, and not giving up on us, because the fans did not give up on him.
No, they didn't.
His 2019, even though he lost the X Division championship later, just everything he did with Sammy. And that was a damn good story that they did. I mean, that was some real shit they put out there.
I think that story, not to say it's overlooked, but I think that story definitely needs to go down as one of the more deep stories that they've done, man. I mean, that was pretty personal. I mean, they brought up a lot of heavy shit, They did some interesting stuff with Rich this year. I think he has had a very, very packed year. Yeah. And sky's the limit on what he's going to do next year, man. I honestly think, and people say, oh, he's small, but man, what he did in that gauntlet, is it too crazy to say he could be in the heavyweight division?
He can go for anything. Seriously. I mean, he's doing the tag thing now with Willie. I don't know how far that's going to go. I wouldn't mind seeing him as a tag guy. No matter what he does, he's going to be on top of whatever he's going for. He could absolutely, go after the Impact World Championship at some point.
I think I don't think it's out of the ordinary or out of the question for him to be able to do that, because he can hang with anybody, man. Another thing, Kyle just mentioned something in the chat. And I think that's one thing I want to highlight too before I go on to others. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go on to it. Let me finish the awards, folks. I'm gonna go on to something highlight Kyle's mentioning here with ECW stuff. So we're gonna talk about that in a second, because I'm gonna mention how I got to go to that arena as well. But finishing move of the year, Tessa Blanchard's Magnum. The Brian Cage is a little upset that he didn't win with the drill claw. So he was a little upset about that.
I saw that. Yeah, he's had a hell of a year too. I mean, injuries aside, they kept him in the spotlight. They kept the championship on him. There was some controversy that went along with that, and I think fans were kind of divided on that one. They were like, no, keep it on him. Let's be patient. I was good either way with it. I'm sure I said some opinion one or the other, but thinking back on it, I couldn't imagine I was like too one-sided either way. But yeah, he was injured. They stuck with him, and they let him defend it and kept it until the debut on Access. And man, and now this is something that we have not discussed on here. I think we should bring this up a little bit. We just found out recently that his contract is up.
Is it up today, the first, or was it up after Hard to Kill?
I don't know. They could do like short extensions, whenever, just to get through a certain taping period to finish a story, because he's booked, isn't he, for Hard to Kill?
I believe he is. I'll have to double check. My thing is, though,
I'm pretty sure he's facing RVD or something.
That's right. Yeah. It's RVD and him. So he is on the pay-per-view. My thing is, though, I want to see the Brian Cage thing was tough this year, because a lot of build. He busted his ass. I think he became who he was in Impact this year. The thing is, though, that injury really threw his title reign for a loop. But I will give it this: at Bound for Glory, he got to have that redemption win. And I think him winning at Bound for Glory was a huge, huge move. And I think that gave him a good cap to at least say, okay, look, his title reign was worth something good, because that match was awesome. So I'd like to see him stay, just because he's so associated with Impact now. I'm like, he's one of our guys. He is. Brian Cage is an Impact guy. I don't see him as another guy. I see him as an Impact guy. I'd like to keep him and cultivate that. You need more senior members back there. You need guys to root into the company more. And he's one of those guys that they've done a lot with him. Let's keep rooting him in. Let's keep him in the mix on things.
I'd love to see him, grow. I mean, now that he's healthy again, let's keep pushing him. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't really, I don't want to see him go. I mean, it seems like these past 2 years have been a growing period for everybody that's been in the company.
Yeah.
And they know that the company has momentum, and they know that their worth is, everybody's stock is growing up as this company's popularity grows up.
That's the thing. I mean, your stock immediately goes up as a part of it. So Cage's as well. I'm sure they all want him. Everybody else wants him because that's how it works. But it depends on where he wants to be and what they can do for him.
Yeah,
so let's see.
He's a guy with a family. He's got a little cage, a little mini cage. He's got Melissa Santos by his side, and and I said the same thing about when LAX left. They're family guys. They got to look out at what's best for their family.
Yep.
So we can say whatever we want till our faces turn blue. It's up to them. We just got to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. That's, and William right here brings up a great point. If guys who don't know, William Gardner is in the chat. This is your front row, the mayor of Impact fandom, Moose Vest, EC3 jacket. This is the man in the front row. You guys are always wondering, Bill, they're always wondering, who is that guy? Who's the guy in the front row at every show? The people who don't know, they eventually know. And I'm like, the guys who people don't know, that's the man right there. He's the legend himself and become a real good buddy of mine. Jay, you got to meet him too, right? At the weekend?
Yeah, we sat across from each other eating pizza. Yeah.
That's right.
I was just, when we walked in the restaurant, I was like, holy crap, it's Best Guy.
It's the legend. No, he's a great dude. Guys, if you see Bill at a show, go up and say hello. But he brings up a good point. Cage's style, and I've been saying this too, Bill. For a guy his size to be doing hurricanranas and top rope planchas and suicide dives, I always like, why does he need to do all that? You're a big, huge guy. Why are you doing all that stuff?
Yeah.
And the back injury, that rebellion, that was an example of what happens when you do that stuff.
Yeah.
Has he been a little more careful now? Maybe a little, but not a ton more, since he got some work done. So I don't know where he goes long term.
He just took 5 freaking pile drivers.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God.
That's true. Yeah. The safety has gone out the window.
That was painful to watch. But
I want to talk about real quick the moment of the year. Sami Callihan winning the Impact World title on the Access debut in a cage in Windsor. Not much else to say other than that's an epic moment. Sami couldn't be prouder to be champion. Remember, one thing I got to mention is there are guys who the generation now is all these guys who grew up watching TNA and Impact Wrestling. So this is like Sami mentions, I watched TNA growing up. That was the company I was watching. Yeah. Ethan Page is like, I was a kid when TNA was starting. So that's the company I grew up with. So there is a new generation that's like really proud to be holding these belts and being a part of this. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
And there's women out there that are a fan of the Knockouts division of the
Kira Hogan, comes to mind.
That want to become a knockout. It's a thing.
People
may not want to admit it, but it's a thing.
It's definitely a thing. And so I want to talk about one thing. So those are the awards that have been revealed up to this point. There's some more coming out this weekend, and we can touch on those on the next review as well, guys. But I want to talk about one thing that Kyle mentioned just now in the chat, the spirit of ECW this year. Talk about an interesting thing. ECW stayed alive in Impact Wrestling, much to the dismay of some people who didn't like it. But you had come through the Impact this year, Rob Van Dam, Sabu, the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, who am I made? Rhino. God, these guys, that core right there, I've got to be missing somebody. Shit, I don't know what I'm missing, but
Sandman was in there for a hiccup. Raven was in some backstage stuff with Eddie Edwards.
Small thing, yeah. So I mean, look at all that ECW influence. I grew up on ECW. I grew up watching it. For me to see these guys mixing it up with these young guys is a trip. Seeing them live. Now here's leading into this next point, Jay. I got to go to the ECW arena this year for the TV tapings. And that was a trip too, because I got to go to another historic venue as a part of Impact Wrestling. And that was cool just seeing Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, and Sabu in the ECW arena. Jay, now we watched those tapings. I think it's before you joined the channel, Jay, but did you watch that show? Do you remember seeing anything about it when that happened?
Which one? I'm sorry.
When they were in the ECW arena in Philly, the Philly tapings?
Yes.
It was pretty awesome. It's pretty historic to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I remember watching it on Twitch.
Johnny Swinger also. Pete Picasso, thank you. Swinger as well. I keep forgetting Swinger was an ECW guy.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Johnny
yeah.
Swinger, yes.
He was.
Who's still there now, yeah.
Yeah, after decades. Okay. They were saying that the
Rizats his eye. all rise, huh? Rizats his eye. Dude, that Rizats his eye was said at AAW like all weekend long. Like Rizats his eye.
That the guts of the ECW arena has changed dramatically.
A lot. The banners are still up though.
Yeah.
But it was cool to be. So that was another thing though. That was another historic event to be a part of the ECW arena tapings. You know, the things that happened there. That was fun. Yeah, I guess you can count Cyrus too.
Yeah.
I guess Cyrus counts too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So that was cool. So like I got to go to that, you know, and then those Windsor tapings, ECW arena tapings, and I'm trying to think if I went to another one in between. I'm losing track. I know I didn't go to Slammiversary weekend, and I'm trying. I think there was one more in there somewhere. I can't remember, but that was cool. You know, it was interesting to be a part of them kind of conquering this new ground and this ECW arena crowd, Philly. You know, that was, and then mixing those two worlds, old generation and new. But man, who would have thought those ECW guys would still be doing it in 2019?
Oh, and Swinger looks like $1 million. Just everyone in general. Tommy Dreamer being involved more often than not as a backstage guy now more than an in-ring guy, and still in-ring once in a while for a pop, depending on where they are, what they're doing. To have a mind like Tommy and one of the most generous guys in wrestling, who's been around and has always given back, still giving back, and will go anywhere and help out if he can do it physically or if he has the time to do it. Just amazing. And then to have a guy like RVD come back and bring his booty shaking wife, Katie Forbes.
Sure.
With someone else in the chat mentioned that she's also on WoW. Yeah, she's I can't remember her name in WoW, but she's also on there. But yeah, to have RVD completely regenerate his his character, become a full blown heel, and the fans still love him, but yeah, he'll
him on Twitter is phenomenal, by the way. But I want to quickly just shout Mr. Peeps right here with a quick comment. They saw me at AAW this past weekend, but I was busy. Mr. Peeps, do not hesitate to come up to me at AAW. I know I might seem busy, but definitely stop me if you ever see me. Hopefully you're at the next show at Logan Square Auditorium in January. Would love to say hello and meet you. But so thank you for being at the show. Guys, the Windy City Classic was phenomenal. I just want to put that out there. And yes, Tommy Dreamer still does run House of Hardcore. I also discovered, Jay, he has a podcast, the House of Hardcore podcast.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube and iTunes and everything. And he interviewed Johnny Bravo, who friend of the show, friend of ours. Good old Johnny Bravo, good, great dude. He's an awesome interview with Johnny Bravo on the House of Hardcore podcast. Check that out, guys. But
speaking of Johnny Bravo, I'll bring it up again for those who may not have heard it. I know I've talked about it a couple of times this year, but that is absolutely one of my highlights of the year.
Yeah, is
me being at All Glory, listening to this man's band on stage. Hemi absolutely ripping the roof off the place at the end of All Glory, and having Johnny Bravo come up to me, put his arms around me, freaked the shit out of me, and said, I'm so glad you made it. And I'm like, hey,
That's awesome, man.
what?
That's awesome.
I will never forget something like that. That will all stuff like that sticks with you forever. And it's just, man, and as far as, and I've said this for the last, I don't know how many years on my own podcast, the lack of manager type characters in professional wrestling. We need more because they really add to other characters. They help build up storylines.
No doubt, man.
And Johnny Bravo, out of nowhere, over the course of this past year, has become one of the most goofy, entertaining managers, partners, whatever you want to call him, as far as what he did with Johnny and Taya this past year in 2019. Just wonderful character. What
a transition. He went from wrestler to referee to manager on TV every week. All later in his career. That's cool, man. That's very cool. Pete Picasso says he saw me at Warrior Wrestling shows. You come up to me too, man. Don't know everybody. If you ever see me at a show, please don't hesitate to say hello. Maybe I look intimidating. Jay, if I ever cut this damn hair, maybe I'll look a little nicer. If you want to come up to me, I'm the nicest guy in the world. Come right up to me. Say hello, please.
I spent the weekend with this guy. I can vouch for it.
But no, he was great. Yeah, at all glory, especially. I know that made your day, Jay. That was pretty cool. So, very, very happy to have gotten to know Johnny this year for sure, and the Impact crew more and more. We said goodbye to LAX this year. That was a big departure. The Killer Cross departure is a big one, but marred with a little controversy. But the LAX departure this year, Jay, that's probably the big departure I want to talk about for a minute here. The one that we let them go with single tears in our eyes, smiling, but hugs on the way out, kind of. They left on the best terms ever. Putting over the right guys. Thank you, Bill, for the compliment about all glory. They left putting over the right guys, doing business, full respect, publicly, you name it. The respect they showed Impact on the way out is fantastic. And they're over at AEW now, which I'm not sure how they're doing. I don't watch AEW, but I'm sure they're doing great because those guys are great dudes. Getting to know them this year, working with AAW. They took our belts at one point, So they've had a great year. 2019 was an amazing year for those boys, and
LAX and Lucha Bros.
Oh man, just all those guys, right? What a year the Lucha Brothers and LAX. Yeah, no, I'm sorry not to mention Lucha Brothers left this year too, but for some reason LAX was more of they were ours. Lucha Brothers were everywhere, but LAX was ours. They were our boys, and we did a lot with LAX.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Lucha Brothers became a worldwide phenomenon, starting, of course, down in Mexico, going to and I'll bring it up again, Lucha Underground. And that was their goal. Their goal was to get Lucha Libre on American television.
Yes.
You look at where all those guys are now and how big some of them became, including the Lucha Bros and other people from Lucha Underground, and how many of them now have got big contracts in big companies, no matter what your taste in wrestling is. I'd say it was a huge success as far as someone from Conan, it was his baby long ago to start. That was like the plan. And,
yes.
They did it.
I just noticed one thing I just forgot. Father James Mitchell, another ECW guy, back in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
And he's doing amazing work. Holy shit. But
he's still incredible.
Oh, my beautiful Rosemary. LAX, the thing is, we love them. They were good to us even on the way out. That's why I think nobody was like bitter about LAX leaving. We were bummed that they were leaving, but they did everything. And it's like, hey, there's always a spot here. This is home. I think there will always be, they're one of those people, they're always going to be Impact guys, and LAX will always be known as Impact Wrestling guys, especially the name too. But like there's certain guys, no matter where I see photos of like Eric Young on WWE, and I'm like, he's an Impact guy. No matter which way you slice it, Bobby Roode and Eric Young, I don't care how much they're involved in other companies, they're always going to be Impact. Even AJ Styles, I look at him and I go, he's a TNA. He's an Impact guy. He just happens to be working there, but he will always be that guy.
Yeah.
LAX is one of those two, I feel. No matter what they do, they're ours. You know, they're part of this family first. So I think that's really cool. They're definitely good dudes, man. If you ever get to meet them, guys, I highly recommend. They are great guys. For sure, say hello to them. Not like me. Everybody's scared to say hello to me at shows, J-Bone. What in the hell? But so that was also, and then we had Slammiversary this year, which has been voted, guys. And I want from the chat, guys, give me your feedback. Everybody's saying not just an Impact, it was the pay-per-view of the year across the wrestling world.
Yeah.
And I think it was a perfect show. Slammiversary to me was a perfect show. And I think it's been said it's the best show of the year. And I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on what you think was the best show of the year, because I watched Slammiversary, Jay, and I was like, I can't find a single goddamn thing wrong with this show. The only critique I'll have was the lighting of the venue and just how it came across on TV. And if that's the worst I can come up with, shit, there's nothing wrong with that show.
Yeah.
But
that one, and I'm trying to remember, that one was headlined by Sammy and Tessa, right?
Sammy and Tessa, the base of the first one, right? That really kicked off all this.
Yeah.
Because that match was so believable. And I think that was the catalyst of what became, now. So it was very interesting. I loved Slammiversary. I still have it. I ordered it. I bought the DVD too, but it's still on my DVR because I want to get to it quick one day and just watch it again. Even though it's on Plus, I got 15 ways of watching that show, but I still won't let it go from my DVR. But great show. I'd love to hear everybody's feedback on what they think it was a show of the year, but definitely the pay-per-view. I think that I think it was the one, Jay, that's like, all right, guys, we're not fucking around anymore. This is like the new Impact is this, and this is what you're getting now. And I think that opened a lot of people's eyes, man.
Yeah, and the people that always talked about WWE and only WWE actually started saying, "Oh, hey, and we'd like to mention that this past they may not have talked about Impact Wrestling every single week.
Yeah,
but when they had those knockout pay-per-views, and not the you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
they knocked it out of the park. Everybody noticed, no matter what kind of fan, because the buzz was there. People heard about it and people checked it out.
Absolutely. Even those dirt sheet guys like the Meltzers and the Kellers and all those guys, guys who never talked about it. We're finally opening up and saying, hey, this company is you can't screw around with this anymore. This is a company that's to be reckoned with now.
Oh yeah.
They have something to offer. They are there. So it's really cool. I think that one got their respect, and I think that was setting the tone for the going forward. So very, very cool. Slammiversary. Purchase the DVD. Own that. If you guys are going to own anything, own that one. It's an epic show to have.
Oh yeah.
And then the big ones, Jay, the Bound for Glory weekend. I can't leave off. I don't want to brush over Rebellion because that was a big thing for me personally, even though that was before Slammiversary, but just Rebellion.
Oh yeah.
In April being a big personal accomplishment, and not to make it all about me, but that was when my band Hemi got to sign our first contract with Impact Wrestling to have our song called Decay be a part of the show.
That was tremendous. Tremendous. Yeah. They
featured it as the music for the main event. And I made a goal, and that's the contract right there on my wall, right there. But a goal I said at the end of the year, this day 1 year ago, I said, I was in a car with my two buddies, referee Nate Speckman, who's refereed for Impact, recently at the Dayton show, the Wrestling Revolver show there in Dayton, and he's done some other stuff at Prelude to Glory, and my buddy Basil. People know me from the Backstage Boys podcast, and he is a photographer for Impact Wrestling. I said, guys, this is the year that I get my music on Impact Wrestling. And sure enough, thank you to Kevin Sullivan, the producer, former producer, is now with AEW. He gave us that shot, man, and we got that shot at Rebellion, and hearing it
open.
Yep, hearing it on TV and everything was just a trip. So very cool, and that was also a very good pay-per-view. I love the venue out there, man. I love the Canadian venues; they're the best. But let's jump over to Bound for Glory now. We got Bound for Glory because we don't want to keep everybody too late. We're hitting a good time here, guys, because like I said, we don't want to do too much because Impact's doing a great job recapping their year online as it is. But Bound for Glory weekend, another epic one for me, another song to be a part of it. And not only that, our song's featured as the main commercial, but being asked to perform Bound for Glory weekend at the All Glory event was just something that I never thought in a million years would happen. Photos and everything, guys, available, on Hemi Music on Facebook and Twitter and everything, Instagram. Take a look at the photos, that video on YouTube. But wow. And then the event itself, Jay, you came down, you made the drive down.
That was my first Impact event ever.
How was the whole shebang for you?
The whole weekend was such a little adventure to go down there. And you were hospitable enough to let me crash on your couch. Ran into a great guy by the name of Whoopsie, who I spent a lot more time than I thought I was going to with this weekend. Man, we drove all over friggin' Chicago. It was hilarious.
Sure did. You Whoopsie became tight.
We went through Taco Bell drive-ins together. And then picked them up for the pizza party the next day, hung out, went to the arena together. We were together a lot. We were together more than you and I were together.
That's true.
Crazy. Yeah, that's
true. I was busy with stuff with Impact and everything, but you and Whoopsie got to hang out. But we also had our meetup for Chicago Pizza. We got to meet a bunch of our friends there.
That was amazing. Yeah. William Gardner, who's in the chat, was there, along with
Jessica Douglas, who's a fixture at the tapings as well.
Yes.
God, I keep forgetting the one dude's name from the UK.
Isn't his name Bill too or something?
Might have been. Somebody remind us if you know. You, myself, Whoopsie, we were all in there. We had a great time and just meeting everybody at the show.
Yeah.
But at All Glory, man, it was just a trip to meet everybody. Ken Shamrock, talking to Hemi and taking a photo with us, and just Impact making us feel so welcome, being a part of the family and everything. So I'm grateful for that. My next goal, Jay, calling it right now, declaration, everybody. This podcast is going to be affiliated with Impact Wrestling by hook or by crook. I'm putting it out there right now. It's going to happen in some capacity. I don't know how, but damn it, that's the 2020 goal.
Hey, maybe the transition over to once a week going on Twitch for them or something.
Something, man. I'd like it to be something.
They do all their other odd shows with Jessica Havoc. Josh Alexander he does his own throwback with is it his wife?
Yes, his wife.
I think it's his wife.
Jade Chung. She was a manager in Ring of Honor back in the day.
Really?
Which a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, she was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was in the business too. But yes, it was Will from the UK, by the way. Will from the US just confirmed that in the chat. but guys, but Bound for Glory, what another epic show. That crowd, the scene, the vibe, it was so much fun. The surprises we saw at Bound for Glory, at the Odeum in Chicago, which was where ECW ran back in the day. Yeah. Just a lot of history and just a lot of fun seeing all that come at Ace, the rise of Ace Austin at that show. RVD Turner, you're wearing the shirt. It's not the banging wife shirt, but it's the shirt with Ace Austin.
It's a sexy purple shirt.
Yes. Ace Austin's rise that happened there. The Brian Cage's redemption of that title run that was marred by injuries. all this shit that went down, just seeing a lot of all these surprises in the battle royal, just all that stuff, man, was so much fun to see. I mean, Shamrock and Moose, one of the highly anticipated matches of the year. It was so much went on, and just so much cool shit. I'm so excited. It was such an exciting time to be a fan at that day.
Kylie Ray showing up, yeah.
Kylie Ray.
We and it was saw her the night before too, and yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything. I think there was a lot of buzz over the course of like the next month about her maybe joining Impact Wrestling. I haven't heard anything yet. I don't know what,
The only insider info I can give you guys based on what I know, she took promo pictures for Impact with Impact logos on them. I don't know what that means. Nothing's happened since. I mean, we're talking almost there, we're going on 3 months here. So I don't know what it means, but she did take official pictures. So who knows? But we'll see where it goes, man.
That was just to get the stuff rolling and kind of a prodding, kind of a, hey, it's come on,
I want to address something at Gettysburg Battles. Left a comment. Any CDs for the band to buy? Yes, there is. HemiMusic.com. HemiMusic.com. Links are all in the merchandise section. Links are all in there. New album to old. They're all in there, man. Take a look. Downloads, you name it. HemiMusic.com. It's on iTunes and everything too. But yeah, go to HemiMusic.com. All the links to everything's in there.
Oh yeah.
Onto the merchandise section. But I want to address. So that was it, man. That was the big thing. Then we had our New York tapings leading for Hard to Kill now. Kylie Ray for sure. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll figure it out. But yeah, Hard to Kill coming up. But Kyle just left a message while at Star Wars. I have no idea why you're tweeting or texting from Star Wars. It must not be as good as everybody said it was, Kyle. If you are texting us from Star Wars,
it's crazy. I can't even imagine. I
want to end this episode today on this note from everybody. Do you guys agree on the final deletion being the match of the decade for Impact Wrestling? That got voted, and Matt Hardy put it over. Matt Hardy put it over big time.
That is interesting. I mean, there was a lot of buzz around that.
Lots. I think it's the most memorable. You want to talk matches? It's not much of a match. But
it was more goofy than anything. It got a lot of attention. The talk about it went viral. It was definitely like, the water cooler talk of over the course of a few months.
Yep.
To the point that there was even a war over the rights of characters down the line, and then the same characters showed up in WWE and obviously didn't come to the fruition that the fan base wanted from them in WWE. It was a sad representation, in my opinion, of what they did in Impact. Impact was just, and I don't think I've even seen half of it because I was a little back and forth, and I'll admit it. But and I think that Matt's on his way out of the company. So who knows? 2020, will we see someone like Matt Hardy come back to Impact Wrestling? It's certainly going to be sooner than Jeff. Jeff's got a whole Jeff's in a world of hurt right now, and I'm just I'm hoping the best for him. He needs a year off, rehab, several different kinds of rehab, in my opinion, and just fix himself and then come back to wrestling in a year. That's what I think he should do.
I think Matt's smart, and I think Matt's going to do something to make an impact, if I can use that. He's been teasing a lot. There's been a lot being said. Who knows? I think he's very intelligent. Look, crazy shit happened in 2019. I can only imagine what they'll do in 2020.
Oh, you thought 2019 was crazy? The way the industry was flipped on its head by a new little company called AEW, the bigger rise of Impact Wrestling, the practically a demise of Ring of Honor and other little companies sprouting up and getting noticed. Wrestling overall is just an absolute chaotic love orgy.
It's crazy shit.
Just nuts.
Who knows what's going to happen? As far as match of the decade, I'm going to say it's a fine choice because I don't think any other match got that kind of buzz from everywhere. I did this thing where I showed that match to non-wrestling fans and recorded their reactions, and just their reactions were like the best shit ever. You know, like, I had one friend who was just like,
there you go.
I had one friend who was like, I'm at the fucking tipping point. I cannot handle this shit right now. What the hell did you just show me? Like he was like losing his mind. It's like it was it just crossed lines, man, and it was really cool. It's very hard. I agree, wrestling fans. It's very hard. How am I going to pick a match of the decade? There have been so many matches, but if there's one that I'll never forget this decade, it's the Found Deletion. I'll never forget it. It was so goddamn bizarre. I'll never forget it. Any of the Matt Hardy shit, Oh, yeah. So it's definitely one for the books. I'm fine with that vote. I'll go with it. But definitely a lot of honorable mentions. The ones I'm just going to quickly name off the ones that Impact noted on their top 10. They had LAX versus the Lucha Brothers, Kurt Angle versus Ken Anderson, Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell, Aries versus Rude, Tess Blanchard versus Sami Callihan. The first one, Sammy versus Penta, Wolves versus the Hardys versus Team 3D, Sabin and the Motor City Machine Gun, Sabin and Shelley taking on Beer Money, AJ and Kurt, and then the Found Deletion. So they put out a video, guys, on Impact Wrestling's YouTube channel of a breakdown of the top 10 matches. Take a look at it. That was a good
video. That was a really good one.
Take a look at it. They'll give some more detail on it. So I'm cool with it. But let's see what 2020 brings, guys. I am very excited. Hopefully it brings EC3 right back to the company. I'm just going to put that out there. That little nugget, place that one out there, Jay.
Oh, I have no clue. Like, I know he's not happy. I know that much.
He can't be happy. What is he doing out there? I don't even know what he's doing even.
He's doing a whole lot of this, nothing.
I don't even know. But please put EC3 back in. Take him back home. He's another guy. I don't care where he goes. That's an Impact Wrestling guy. I don't care where he is.
People can say all they want that he started as Derek. What was his name?
Derek Bateman.
Derek Bateman in the classic in the classic NXT back before it was even close to being what NXT has grown to become now. And then they let him go, and it's just another great example of a company like Impact Wrestling or TNA creating that character and building it up to the point that WWE said, oh, hey, yeah, let's bring him back. Unfortunately, we know what became of him, and I think we know now that he would have changed his mind.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have, man. But he left at a very, very flux time in the company too. And now if he comes back, he comes home, I'm ready for him. Imagine EC3 in today's Impact Wrestling climate. Holy shit. What he on the mic with a Sami Callihan? Oh, come on. And let me give honorable mention to Michael Elgin for 2019. I cannot leave this episode without mentioning Michael Elgin.
Oh, he didn't have a bad match.
Period. Not a single bad match all year. This guy has had the best matches all year. I was tweeting with him yesterday, and he was putting out his best list, his top 10 of the decade. And the one that sticks out to me, not necessarily Impact, I had to put out there, he had a match against Silas Young at AAW in 13 or 12, which to this day, all of us at AAW will say was the match that changed the company into the path it became. It was a 60-minute match title, and it was one of the great. I was in the audience. I wasn't working for the company at the time. One of the greatest matches I've ever seen. If you guys get a chance, AAWOnDemand.com, watch that match. It is so good. So good.
Silas Young from Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's your boy, man. But to know that Elgin was that good 7 years ago, but man, now 2019, talk about a guy who nearly had his whole career ripped from him.
In fact, that was when I met him.
You got it? You got an autograph?
Up on the wall, yeah. 2020, about 2012-ish, yeah.
ROH years, yeah. He talk about a guy, Jay, who had his career nearly ripped away from over some BS legally, to rebound and become a player at Impact. Calling it right now, Michael Elgin's going to have the world title at some point in 2020. Putting that out there.
All right, I saw this in the chat earlier, and now you repeated it, so I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to ask, who in the hell is Fuego del Sol?
Let's look it up. Google it. You can take a look. But guys, I think that's a lot. Jay, is there anything we missed? I don't want to go too much. I mean, we covered a lot of the highlights.
Oh, we could have picked this apart for another hour if we really dove big time into even the further back into the decade and talk about more of the best of, but that would have taken a lot more research, and this is more off of our personal experiences, our likes, and just piggybacking off of what Impact Wrestling has put out over this past week. It's been a hell of a year. One of my greatest wrestling experiences personally is with this company, and I can't say that. I can't say enough of how proud I am to be a big fan of Impact Wrestling. It's
a great company to be a fan of. It's a great company to go see live. I encourage anybody, if they're coming to your town, go watch them. 2019 proved it. It was a lot of fun for first-timers like J-Bone, who never went to a show before. I mean, he was so welcomed by the talent even. To feel that welcome by the talent is such a cool feeling.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's such a great feeling, and that is really cool. So check it out. They're fun shows. Hard to Kill coming up on January 12th. I'm in town. We're going to decide on a meetup place the day of the show. Have a little lunch with everybody before we head over. So Hard to Kill coming up. Jay, I wish you and Kyle could come with. Too bad it's not going to work out this one. But if there'll be another. There's going to be another Chicago date in 2020 after Bound for Glory weekend. There has to be a Chicago date in 2020.
Oh, that, and I'm hoping it grows and expands even more and heads up to somewhere around the Milwaukee area.
Absolutely.
I mean,
just an hour that way.
Not to bring up another company, but MLW came up here, and I don't think they're coming back because they've been back to Chicago I don't know how many times, and they haven't come back up here yet. So I'm saying, hey, Impact Wrestling, come to Milwaukee. There's a crap ton of wrestling fans up here that want
old wrestling town. Absolutely. It's an old wrestling town, man.
Wrestling did not come to die in Milwaukee. Don't believe the WWE, okay?
Listen, you guys got a statue of the Crusher downtown. You have a statue of a pro wrestler downtown.
Hey, yes. I was there.
It's awesome. That's awesome. No, it's a great wrestling town, and it's only an hour away from me. So Milwaukee or Chicago, guys, do it. Yeah. Well, I think it's inevitable. They have friends at Warrior Wrestling. They have friends at AAW. They are very linked up in Chicago. They have we shared a lot of talent at AAW. I mean, this past weekend, just to name a few, Josh Alexander, Ace Austin, Clayton Gaines, who has been on some Impact stuff before. I'm missing somebody. Damn. Oh, Rohit Raju,
Jessica Havoc,
Hakeem Zayn, Jessica Havoc, Sammy Callahan, Jake Crist. These were all at AAW. So if you want to see the Impact talent, come to AAW as well. January 24th at the Logan Square Auditorium, by the way. But
it's a hot show.
Guys, by the way, I know there's a lot of fans of Rohit Raju in this in the Impact Lounge. Rohit / Hakeem Zayn. He just won the AAW Heritage Championship. Go watch the stuff we're doing with him. It's totally different than the Daisy Hit Squad. Take a look. It'll make you love this guy even more. Take a peek.
He's really coming into his own with his promos and everything.
Oh, it's great. I'm calling it, guys, 2020 Chicago for Impact Wrestling again. But damn it, we're going to get something. It's going to be a hell of a year. They've already teased something about the most violent match or something coming up. Is it Lockdown? Is it Hardcore Justice? Is it a barbed wire massacre? I don't know what it is. But they teased something on Twitter earlier today. Don't know what it is, guys. We'll find out. It's going to be a great year. We got David Sahadi back producing. We got Eric Tompkins as the head producer now. We got a new production team leading up the production stuff. We got more. We got Access TV. Access TV is more and more power behind them. TV is good. International markets, UK access, all this shit going on. It's going to be a great year, guys.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, and to have Access TV, they brought Impact Wrestling to their LA offices, shot all the stuff for the
Like a media blitz.
The debut and all the holiday stuff that Josh and Scott Demore did together, which was hilarious, which I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see the culmination of that next week. Or this was it the Saturday?
It'll be on Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. And then Tuesday is the next actual Impact Wrestling, the regularly scheduled program.
Absolutely. Program. So a lot to happen, guys. Partnerships, more and more is going to happen. More signings I expect to happen this year. Lots to go. Lots still coming. It's going to be a fun year. Let's kick it off with Hard to Kill on January 12th. Jay, I think we should let these people go. It's been fun. We've kept them for about an hour 15 recapping the year. Yes. Guys, we'll be back with a regularly scheduled review starting next week. I'm probably on Thursday next week. We'll do the regularly Tuesday review. That'll be the go-home show for Hard to Kill. So we'll be on for that one.
Yeah, hopefully we can drag a scumbag away from the force for that
one. And then I'll be at Hard to Kill, and we'll come back, Jay, and I will do the live recap of Hard to Kill. There's going to be no tapings, I understand, after Hard to Kill, and they're going to do another one of those recap best ofs or whatever, and then they're going to Mexico. So we have a week buffer in there. We'll fill that in with something else as well. So
there you go.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Jay, let's get your plugs in here.
You can follow me over on the little Twitter box at Jaybone5150. That's Jaybone 5150. I'm also on that other little podcast called Smash This Podcast. I took a several week break at the end of the year, and we're going to get things back into the swing of things. Tomorrow night, we're going to do a best of the decade with a round table, including this guy over here.
I'm gonna confirm it, but I'm gonna try to make it for sure. I should be there though.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully Trent can make it. Styles and Mike Larkin are also going to jump in.
Cool.
Have a nice little crazy discussion on everything that happened the last 10 years in wrestling.
Awesome.
That should be a lot of fun. And you can also find Smash This Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Awesome. I was really hoping you did an Eli Drake style with Smash This Podcast, but no.
That's always for the intro.
Oh, okay.
You got to tune into Smash This Podcast to see it.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go, guys. Go ahead and sub to Smash This Podcast right now. Guys, you can find me at Vanilla Joke, Instagram and Twitter. Also at Hemi Music, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or HemiMusic.com. Check it out. I'm going to be starting another Instagram. I think J-Bone, a public one. Because mine's right now it's private. You got to add me and I got to approve it. So a public one, so it makes it easy for people to find me. So anybody can add me on there, make it easy. So I'll be getting that going soon, guys. Also, remember you can add the show at We Talk Impact on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just type in We Talk Impact in the search, all one word, and the Total Nonstop Impact podcast shows up. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Guys, don't forget, we are also available wherever podcasts are found: Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify, along with YouTube under the Impact Lounge or Total Nonstop Impact. We have 2 channels. Subscribe to them both. Please make sure to do that. Exclusive content on each. So make sure you're on both. Guys, rate, review, subscribe. Get a hold of us. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you hate. Tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell somebody. But tell Impact Wrestling you like getting your Impact talk from the 2 biggest Impact fans, sometimes 3 when Kyle's here, fans over at Total Nonstop Impact. So, guys, Jay, I'm going to give a quick thank you. I'm going to let you get some thank yous in here too, guys. Thank you so much for a wonderful 2019. It was an amazing year. You guys are awesome. We love you. You made this such a great year for the podcast. We're only looking to grow more in 2020. We appreciate all of you from the bottom of our heart. Jay, get your thank yous in here too, man.
Oh, yeah. Just thank everyone from the bottom of my heart to answer this question real quick. Yes, J-Bone's Jacked Up Jukebox is returning. I have not completely buried it. I just launched it at a very inappropriate time. But yes, 2020, I am bringing it back. So you'll see that sooner rather than later. A lot of music news going on. Yeah, just like I said, thanks. This past year, like I said, has just been the most success that I've ever seen in my own podcast, and that is partially and mostly to joining this podcast as well. Being a part of this with Trent and Kyle, it's been one of my best partnership experiences ever. I mean, I started out with the Ramblers years ago, became part of the Wrestle Addict Radio group with the Rant with That podcast guys, and now I'm doing this, and it's just damn, I must be doing something right, not to toot my own horn, but
toot, as our Irish would say. Very cool. J-Bone, thank you. Thank you, Kyle, for everything. Guys, you're awesome. We appreciate all of you. We'll be back. Jay will be on tomorrow at Smash This Podcast, and we'll be back next week with this one. We'll do a throwback show next week on for NWA TNA and the regularly scheduled weekly breakdown. Guys, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much. We will talk to you